friends with an awful lot of people. Not even a lot of it. Some of them through the ball, but some of them that I was in their live and got talking and stuff like that sort of sense. So I see it from a different perspective. I see that I can be friends with people, friends or follow people and people follow me back, and I get noticed in a live saying hello and whatnot from big creators, if you want to put it in brackets, without having to gift them. So there are cases where you can just build up a rapport, not so much a friendship, a rapport. I mean, I am friends with creators.
Pegs never went down the gifting line.
No,
and that's once you start gifting, that's where it starts. But also, I have to say, Pegs has got the personality that stands out, and a lot of the people who do gift don't have that way of being able to come across. But I also find that the ones that are probably wanting to be seen are in the ones where there is over 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Whereas they wouldn't come into, say, mine, who has about 15 people at the most, generally, where every comment gets acknowledged, and you do see, and you don't have to gift. That's where, so this is where we're going back to that fascination. They're obsessed. And let's face it, it's so horrible to say, because we are women and we're very women's women, that the majority of people that sit in, say, Wolves, DGs, Dave Duran's, all of the bigger ones, Cal James, the women. They are literally it's very rare you would see a man's name in, say, somebody like Cal James's, because he goes with the full investing in himself, that he belongs to them.
Oh, there was a proper fitty that Lawrence was battling the other week. What was his name? Todd. Oh, he was all right.
There you go. So even at times, Peggy has literally lost herself. Speedo being one previously.
So, I love a bit of her shy.
And I can obviously I see new creators coming on here that come into the program I'm on with TikTok, and I then obviously been their ambassador and I literally went in to some guy who was top of the competition I was in on Thursday, I think it was, or Wednesday, and he was sat there taking off his Spider-Man outfit with his lovely body on show and everything, and of course all the gifts were going.
Why didn't you share it to me?
It was after it just come off, and and he had a different Spider-Man outfit. It was in the black Spider-Man, and the real Spider-Man outfit was on the bed. So he'd obviously changed from the real Spider-Man into the dark Spider-Man, and the women were like, "Oh, I think you need to change again." And you know what? Fair play, because if you've got the confidence,
you do have females that use their good looks to sort of draw.
You are right. It's not just women. It's not just men.
No, this is an example.
You have a lot of females on this app that will literally slide into a man's DMs. Not a problem at all. Even if they know that there's a relationship in the background, they don't care. They will say and do whatever they want.
How many examples? So the SR knew he was in a relationship. The D was in a relationship, went for it, didn't give a shit, and didn't blink when that person left and stepped straight into it. And then the R was talking to him while SR was still around.
And now the SR is back around.
But the R is still around too. So I still don't get the fascination.
I'm not being funny. He's got them on pieces of string.
100%. I'm going to Twitch this one today, and I'll leave this one down here. But then tomorrow I'm going to
nice little content.
I am
them two falling out.
As for sexting and stuff, that man's a perfect example.
And to be fair, those two women aren't stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might think like they made the way they're acting at the moment.
They're as narcissistic and as manipulative as him. They're all three of them are doing it in mind for what they are getting out of it.
And
There is
with
not
regards
one
to
of them
money,
suffering. Don't fall for any kind of suffering in that kind of situation. The tears like that, I can guarantee you, from somebody who has been in some very serious domestic violent relationships, when they do something bad or they feel like they're losing control, they will cry their eyes out, they will fall to the floor, and you end up looking after them because that's their way of manipulating you.
not funny. They three are probably in a three-way call, all deciding how they're going to plot this week.
But that's what
because
I'm saying is the crying of Sophie Rose, it's her manipulation. I'm losing control. I'm about to say, yes, I'm just an observer all time because obviously I was in the live last night. I'm losing control. So she cried because she was losing control. She thought she had everything in her hands, but that's what narcissists do. They will make you feel sorry for them because that's their way of changing the manipulation back. And I have sat and bandaged one of my exes who'd literally been walking around with a knife, and they put his hand through and literally punched the microwave through. And he was then crying because I called the police. And I ended up sitting there comforting him and bandaging his hand up, even though he'd been threatening me with a knife. And that's what Sophie's doing that. She's
the observer just said they're playing they are after his money, I reckon. No, I think it's the other way round. He's after what they're getting. If you look, you'll never see him sending. You'll always see her name or either one of their names sending it. You never see him.
Of them two, because he's using them to go out and get gifts for them to then drop back on him on a Sunday night. You watch it every Sunday without fail.
I don't even believe that. They're making enough themselves. Remy did not make any hardly money until she went in there. And then
she only had 1,300 followers when she first went in his box.
And obviously she was an ex-Babe Station girl, and that's where she'd made her money before. So literally, she then becomes the queen, which all his minions go, 1 minute Sophie's the queen, and then she's the queen now, and then Sophie's now back in the boxes, and we think Sophie's are the main queen. I have never seen a bunch of minions follow the narrative. They literally go into the Discord. I've been in the Discord. Hi, Craig. I've been in the Discord. Pegs was in the Discord for a while. We had to pull out of it, didn't we? Because it was awful. When he started offering money out, which we witnessed ourselves, to get information where the family who he had messaged the young girl, he put in that he was offering a reward of a certain amount of money, and if they would actually find that family for him, and you're talking to thousands of people that are in there when he did that. Could you imagine the witch hunt that would have been? Discord groups are either good or bad, and to be honest, not.
It's the same as this app. It can be good or bad. You either go on the bad side of it, where you watch all the drama, where you watch like the Angie, the CLA and that side of it, or you find the good side, which I'm not generally saying is us, but if you look at creators that, you can sit, you can have a laugh, you can watch that sort of thing, or participate in a conversation, for example, like this, but someone else said a minute ago, what did they say? Someone said about, has anyone seen the video of Boss Kelly?
Right, yeah, I was part of this all last night. So it's the Observer, obviously, as you know, she's
amazing.
She's the eyes for eyes, basically. So last night, he's probably around weekly ranking 50-ish now, because I know he was dropping.
I'm gonna screenshot that so I'll have a look. I haven't seen, I don't know. I seen a video earlier, but it didn't, I couldn't then.
Pegs, I've got the videos. I've actually got them. I've just not shown anybody. So, Boss Kelly, if you go in there now, he would probably be telling you that if you're not gifting him, you're pointless. If you're not gifting him, you are a troll and you're going to get blocked and what have you. And no point in even coming in with your silly roses and stuff. He sat there laughing last night when he was outed by DG, because DG was given the video with Pearl. It upsets me, this, because obviously it's things that have happened very close to me, this. He picks up his 6-stone woman, his partner, Rosie, who put the video out. This is what I need to point out. And this is a trigger warning, guys. I really need to say this is a trigger warning for anybody who's been through domestic violence or abuse. Please be warned. This is a trigger warning. We're moving on to bits where it might be a bit triggering, so if we can make sure that everybody knows about this. So Boss Callie, who's been put at 50 on the weeklies, he picked his Rosie, she's called, and Ruby, and she was picked up. She was only 6 stone. He is 20 stone. The child is in the van. They must have been in an argument. She must have gone to hit him, like as if like just, you know, like because he's been so horrible, because he's been pushing her. He throws her onto the floor and strangles her. He then picks her up like a doll and throws her down onto concrete floor, giving her a brain bleed.
Why is he not in prison?
It's on with it at the moment, apparently.
See, this is another thing. So if there's something like that about, why are you allowed to be on this app? Like, for example, like with the Lion King situation, no one knew anything about it until he was.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So she put it on and she took it down because obviously she was going through with the police and everything. But it has obviously been shown, given to other people, and because of it, she's also now obviously saying, yes, it can be outed, because unfortunately, he does not have access to the kids, and obviously she's not with him anymore. But I think there is still, unfortunately, still things going on with it. So, but the trouble is, it would be her responsibility to bring that. But the only other thing is last night, as we discussed, all you're going to do is if you went into that guy's live and called him the beast and whatever, like what people were saying last night, you're giving him views. You're making
100%. It's like people don't know to watch his videos to give him views. If the video's over a minute long, he's going to start getting money if he's part of the beta fund. Do you know what I mean? Like in situations like that, it is hard, but you have to literally, you know, not go into his live, not go to his account to view videos, because if he is on a fund and he's doing videos over a minute long, you're gonna then start giving him money.
Hold on, Lucy's just putting the on live last night that he should have done it harder.
Sorry, what was that, Panda?
So he actually said while he was actually on the live with Pearl, DG and Big Jamie, yes, I did do it. She deserved it. I was self-defense. She gave me a slap, so she deserved better. In fact, she deserved worse than what she got. And he would, do it again.
I bet he wouldn't say that to a fucking 20-stone man coming up to him, would he?
Well, I don't think he would have said it to, like, anybody. But, so there is something that you to consider. Please don't go to this guy, but really do not ever, if you already did used to follow him, unfollow him. Don't ever gift him, because that is the only way to take people off the weeklies, by stopping the gifting. And
not just the weeklies, anything.
So upset me. What I went in and watched last night was women, and Panda saw the comments, because me and her were talking about 1:30 last night. Mm-hmm. That some of the girls said it, I've hit my man and I deserved what I got back.
The comment that I was reading with female
on the lines of, if you hit somebody, whether you're a man or a woman, you should get it back, no matter what. It is their fault. She was 6 stone. He was like holding a doll, and he could literally throw her down. She could not, he might have been, he could have killed her. It's that serious, he could have killed her.
Number...
Please don't go into his life. This is not what we want to do. One thing that's being realised out of people being outed is that if you go in their life going, bees, 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 he sat there last night laughing. He was loving the attention. He's the man who was asking for $3,000 for his puppies that aren't even licensed. He hasn't got a license for them. He's not he's not licensed to even
breed. Is his case still in the court, or because it's 8 years old? Is he on Claire's law?
He's on Claire's law, but he's been allowed to. We don't know. The trouble is
from that.
I don't think I think the issue is that we can't surmise, because some women will back down because that's the pressure. Whatever happened 5 years ago, and whatever happened, that was her business. She put the video on and she took it down, and it's now able to be shown again. She's happy for people to see it. But the trouble is, last night when I went across to look at the live, the amount of people that were in there, and he was absolutely.
He would.
He was.
They thrive off it. Some people thrive off it. Like Kev. Kev thrives off people going into his live to say things.
But this is vile. This was absolute vile. It's kind of Claire's law. You can't just get access, guys, anymore. You have to know a person that they're in.
You have to be in a relationship with the person.
And the thing is, but women on here, or even men, if a woman's on, they don't care. I mean, look at the likes of D. He's obviously meant to be on there. Two women could have quite easily obtained information, but they choose not to. People still support that man, even though he's on there. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't.
I genuinely think, I'm sorry, but look, Claire's law is. By the time you were worried about somebody, so if I was worried about Leanne in a relationship, I could, because I was a really close friend. I can fill the form. They don't come to me, but they would go to Leanne and talk to him about it.
That's what I mean, Kirsty.
Yeah. But unfortunately, like the women are with the D, they're just too infatuated, and they believe this is the honest truth. They believe they're going to be the different person that's going to change that for them. And that's the truth, because I've been warned, but I was already too far in. And I didn't turn around and walk out. I was being warned by an ex-girlfriend, because there is something in you that wants you to be the person who rescues that person who makes everything better for them. Yeah. And that's what they tap into. So this is where Claire's law goes wrong, because it's too late usually.
See, this is my issue, is that I've been on TikTok two and a half years now. I've heard lots of stories about numerous creators that have been put out there. It's been put out on the FYP. People have spoke about it, engaged in it. And they're still live today. They're still sort of like doing the same thing, earning money continuously. And their accounts are still going strong. They've never been taken down. My thing is, if there is evidence that this person is a risk to people, which he is a risk to people, why has TikTok not got a protocol in place that if someone is reported and it is found that they have got a criminal history, why is that account? But they also need to bear in mind, Pegs, that if they don't start doing this, there is going to be a lot of legal cases that when someone gets hurt by one of these creators, because they find them on TikTok, they fall in love, they have a relationship, and then they get hurt, they're going to have a legal case, and they're going to say that TikTok did not protect them and TikTok didn't do this. The government will then step in and restrictions are going to then be put in place and TikTok won't be no more. Why have they not put anything in place where these people need to go?
Yeah, but look at the likes of, going back to like Lion King, when everyone created a big thing, on TikTok for TikTok to take a stand. They basically just went, "No, you're right. See you later."
But
they've not changed anything since that.
Yeah, you've got Paul Breach, okay? We all know the story of Paul Breach. We all know what he is, but everyone's still so like, oh, let's go watch him because he does stupid dances with his red blotchy face. No contact coach. She had a relationship with a young child, and she still sits there and she's a coach for people's mental well-being. Hello, Gracie, you beautiful lady.
What about the mental well-being you put that 15-year-old boy through when you were jogging?
And her excuse was, oh, it was better that I took it from him than someone that wasn't going to do it right.
Hang on, stop.
What the fuck?
Someone in here, I like carrots. Level 16 gifter. I sent him £300 and never got it back. Who did you send £300 to?
Who did you send?
Was it Tim Coles?
I didn't know. We were talking about a few people.
Whatever. What's it called?
Now, if you was in here, it'd make it a perfect blend.
I like carrot. Who did you send money to? What, in gifts or like?
Brummy That's another one. I don't know if I name these people.
Would you like to message me? I'll follow you back, and then I'm unblocking.
Don't start going through my block list, love.
I've followed you. Like carrots. I don't know why you were on my block.
Lucy, you don't really. I don't want to. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
I've never seen it.
No, Lucy. I do not know who he is.
I'll go there.
Green grass, blue sky. We're gonna have a party.
I have to say, is the person that looks like a very old version of the Milky Bar Kid with blotches and the worst, like has.
I weren't. I was going to say, looks like more like Wayne Slob. From Wayne and Waynetta.
Slob?
Wayne and Waynetta?
Yeah.
Harry Enfield?
Oh,
But again, with this, if you think about it.
Yeah, of course you can, Jen.
Anybody who wants to come in and help us with these conversations and talk about it, anybody who maybe has been manipulated themselves, that I've been put in position. That's one thing we want to talk about, which we'll move on to in a bit. I've been put in a position where I've been talking really friendly to a guy, thinking, he's really quite nice. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a dick pic. I haven't asked for it. He's not got. We are literally out of the blue.
I'm
fine. Honestly, I've been in 3 very seriously domestic violent relationships, to the point my husband tried to kill me twice. I stayed. That's how my mind completely had gone. I'm happy to talk about it more now when we're in situations like this, if it helps people. I ended up having 18 months of really intense therapy after having a breakdown at work, through a breakdown situation, and it literally all flooded over me.
No, that's fine, Kirsty.
The one thing that anybody ever can say to me is, wow, why did you not leave? That's why I will obviously always be honest with you about that, how you stay and the feelings you have for that person, but your mind says one thing and honestly, it's awful. And the amount of times that you keep thinking you're going to walk away, but it's just not easy to leave. I literally, with the last one, I even came home from work and I was locked out. It changed the locks just because we'd had an argument, because I'd moved into his house, and my dogs were running free because they were my babies. There's stuff I could talk about, but that's why I want everybody to not be hard on anybody, because I do believe it's not about morals. There's reasons why a guy is, or a woman is, a narcissistic person. Because let's face it, there is plenty of women that are narcissistic as well. Jesus Christ. I've had friends that are narcissistic people, and bloody hell, the way that
there's many on this app.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And
it's a breeding ground for narcissistic behaviour, this app, because I'm not being funny, it fills all of their needs. You know, being on TikTok fills a narcissist's needs. It is the place to be.
And this is my honest thing to you, everybody. Until I went into therapy, I didn't realise why I needed to be hurt to be loved, because there's always a connection. You generally will not, everything is too good to be true if it's just love. But when they hurt you, you go, oh, I recognise that. That feels better because you've been waiting for them to hurt you. And you almost feel like a sense of relief the first time it happens. And that's because of something that happened in my childhood. And my brain and my connective and my subconscious had been conditioned to thinking you got hurt to then be loved. So it's not something I realised until it literally came out in one of my sessions. I was hypnotised and it came out. And I must have boxed it from being up to about 8 years old. It started 8, 9, it ended. And that's when I realised why I had been actually looking and actually staying in these relationships. I generally am okay, guys. I promise you now, I'm generally really so much better. And that's why I can talk to you like this. And that's why I'll always remember when the last one that did it to me, when he came, I was leaving, I wanted to go because he was showing signs, and he dragged me down by my hair to the ground and kicked me. And I was like, right, there he is. I knew it were here. And I just it was like, you're not going stupid, Rachel. You knew that person was always going to be like that. And that's the thing. It's, you then go, I can deal with this because this is normal. Whereas I'm the sort of person who would struggle before all the therapy to deal with anybody who was just nice to me. And that's a situation I think a lot of us have probably been in. So anybody who ever is in a relationship like that, still in a relationship like that, don't be hard on yourself at all. And I can obviously say, if anybody needs a chat or anything, I can definitely relate to it. I know that I'm talking from me because I don't speak about anybody else's experiences, but I know that it's not just me that's close to me that's been in that situation. So you will always get an understanding and a safe place to talk to, definitely.
I mean, I've been there myself. I've met my first boyfriend when I was 16, and the relationship was very toxic from day one. He was very violent towards me. It came to one day where he had a weapon, and he put it up to my head and said that if I ever left him, he was going to pull the trigger. He used to burn me, left lots of lasting scars on my body. And I was 16, I was with him till I was 19. And, it was horrific because I left that and I felt so delayed in my development because I hadn't been a normal teenager. I hadn't sort of moved forward. And then I met my first husband, and he wasn't ever violent, but he was very emotionally abusive, and that went on for 19 years. And then I was like, that's it, I'm done with men. I'm never going to go near another man again. And then I met Paul, and with him, it was very much so, I wasn't used to being treated the right way.
Thank you.
And when I was treated the right way, it was kind of like I'd freeze. I didn't know how to accept someone actually wanting to be with me. And we've been together nearly 6 years, and there's still things that I'll question. Well, why do you love me? And how can you love me? And that's a me problem. That's not nothing that he's doing. That's a me problem, So it's so hard to sort of like go through something. And it does it. I read up on it and I was told about it. When you are in a relationship or you're in a situation that's through your parents, through a partner or anything that is like damaging, it actually causes brain damage. And that damage never repairs. And that's why a lot of people have these mental illness conditions and like this trauma. Exactly. And you don't ever move forward from that, but you can grow from it. You can become the most amazing person and you can learn to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, it doesn't matter if the rest of the world loves you, because you're still not going to be good enough.
Exactly. One of my exes, he always threatened if I was to leave him, I'd leave in a box. He used to actually take me to see people that would actually do people over. So he knew people, he'd actually take me and introduce me to them. And then always said if I left to watch my back. And when I did finally leave after years of abuse, I did watch over my shoulder for probably about 3 years after I left. I couldn't go out on my own. Because that's all mental manipulation. He used to literally physically take me to meet them. So I knew they existed.
Looking over your shoulder all the time.
I knew these people, he knew, and it got that bad. The point is that I would rather be unalived than put up with that anymore. So I left.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I can actually say, almost when you leave them is probably one of the hardest periods. I was put in a safe house when I left the last one. I ended up leaving after he'd severely covered my face for the first time. It was always pretty clever. It was mostly my body before.
Yeah.
It had even stood on my neck, this last one. And I went into work telling everybody I'd fallen over Leo, which obviously I easily could do, and landed on the garden furniture, because I literally had this like licorice across. But the night, and it's awful because it was the first I'd gone. The reason why I got so badly done was because my grandson had been born, and after work I went to see my grandson, the first grandchild, and who wouldn't go see that baby? I was in trouble for not going home straight away, and he had said that it was my turn to make the tea, and I hadn't made his tea, and he started on him. My grandson is mixed race, and he called him the worst name you possibly could, and said he would never be seen out with that effing N. And what have you, he would have to be covered up in the pushchair and stuff like that. And obviously, because I went upstairs and started crying, he came up. And anybody who's been in this situation, I wear glasses a lot of the time. Glasses got thrown in the corner before they got broken again. And you just curl up in a ball and you just take it. But this time it happened my face. The two dogs, even dogs and animals get affected. These two cannot have their voices raised around them unless they will remove themselves and take them to a different floor in their house. And the next day, because I said I was going to work, I tried to cover it up with makeup. He said I wasn't allowed to go, and he set the dogs off. They let him out. So when I was meant to be leaving to work, I was just in my work clothes. I was store manager for Next. The dogs are running loose around a housing estate. And I went in my car to go find them, picked them up, and I still had no intention of leaving him, guys. This is the thing. I rang my assistant manager who was on holiday, and I said, I've got the two dogs. I can't get back in the house, but I need to go to work. And I said, will you look after them for the day, and I'll pick them back up when I go home? This is literally how bad your mindset goes. No. And it was only because she met me in the car park outside my store where I was the manager, looked at me and said, you are not going anywhere near work. And I was like convinced she couldn't see any of it. I looked in the wing mirror when she told me to, and yeah, it was just getting worse. So what I thought I'd covered had just developed even further. And then she rang my son. And then once somebody in my real life, not in the enclosed environment, knew, that was it. I couldn't go back. And that's where you will find probably people don't generally leave unless it's so pre-planned or it's taken out of your own hands. And that's where people have really got to be a lot more understanding that why didn't you leave? If you've been hurt, why did you not, like...
Yeah, it's easy for example, me to sit here and go, oh, well, Rach, why didn't you go? You know, why didn't you just go to work and not return? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because very luckily, I've never been in the situation of that Panda, Leanne or Rach have been in.
Yeah.
So it would be easy for me to sit here and say, you know, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? But, you know, like the Observer just said, it's not never easy, and Helen's obviously said it's easier said than done. But it is. It's so easy to sit here and go, after listening to that, well, Rach, why don't you just, like, you know, not just, you know, go to work one day and not return? Like, Leanne, why didn't you just, you know, do this? Or Panda, you know, you were 16, why didn't you just, you know, XYZ, for example? But I'm coming from a situation where I've never been in that situation, so I wouldn't be able to sit there and judge.
But you know what? I actually was one of those people before it happened to me. I always used to sit there and I used to say, are these people stupid? Because if anyone ever did that to me, I'd just get up and I'd walk. So what are these women doing? Why are they allowing these men to do this to them? Because no man would ever lay their hand on me because I'd be gone. Boom. As soon as it happens to you.
Exactly.
You know, literally, my first day of moving in with one of my exes, my friend came with me because I moved, like, away. And she sat there and she heard the first day the way he was with me. And she said, literally, I came into the living room and she went, I'm taking you back home. And I went, no, you're not. She went, oh, this iron's going round his head. She went, I'm taking you home. I went, oh, no, he's just stressed because he's trying to build the wardrobes. Again, boom, straight away, before he'd even laid a hand on me, I was making excuses for him.
Yeah.
He was just building the wardrobe.
Just there, they make you feel so worthless that you actually deserve it.
When I went out in public, I could not lift my head off the floor. My eyes had to be on the floor. If I had dared look up and caught a man's eye, that was it. I was done that night. And he even did it. He sent his mum home early and then did it.
Yeah. Well, I had one instance. We was at a pub and it wasn't me. I was playing pool with, like, my boyfriend at the time, and some guys were watching me play pool. And he got the ump and he said, right, come on, we're going. And I was like, okay. We was with his brother and his brother's girlfriend at the time. He pushed me to the floor the minute we left. So we just left the pub and he pushed me to the floor. He made me crawl up the road while his brother and his girlfriend watched, and I did it. You know, every time I tried to get up, he'd push me down. He made me crawl. And I just accepted that. And I was like, oh, no, this is normal. But my point is that we are survivors of this, and it has made us stronger in a way. We're still very broken. We're still very damaged, and we still have trauma from it, but it's made us stronger, you know. And when we see things like what went on yesterday with Calais, it is such a trauma response that you just want to protect the people around you. And then you see the way that people are engaging in his chat, saying, oh, well, this is okay. We don't care. It makes me so angry and so cross. And it doesn't compute to me how anyone can sit in that comment and type the comments that I saw in his chat. Yeah. Because then people are enabling that behaviour and making it acceptable rather than making him hold accountability for his actions. It's disgusting.
Someone even said in the chat earlier, right, quite far up, that there's a lot of young single mums in his chat agreeing with it, and I was like, but that's to gain his attention. If they sit there, like for example, people like take the Lawrence thing, for example. Like, I'll defend him when it comes to someone making a stupid comment about something. Do you know what I mean? And people are like, oh, you know, you enable him, or, you know, you always stick up for him, like, just because you want to be that. But you three know, and like Amanda and a few other people know, I'm not that type of person. If he does something, you know, if he, like, say for example, food, like if he's eating something wrong, I would quite happily text him like, mate, you can't be eating that, or you can't be doing that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not afraid to say to him this, that, and the other. I'm not afraid to say to anyone. That's why if I've got something to say about something, I'll own what I say and I'll post it on my from me. Like many times I've said to him, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know. And that's what, but people think I tried to do it to get like attention from him. It's like, mate, if I want attention from him, I'll fucking phone him. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give him a call, I'll text him. I don't need to go online and write it. But some women and men feel like they need to have a certain attention of a male or a female. So they'll just carry on agreeing with how they're behaving, or agreeing that, you know, oh yeah, you should have, you know, she deserved it, or yeah, you should have done it harder. And yeah, I would do the same sort of thing in that situation, to gain some sort of notoriety from him.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? But really deep down, they know deep down that that's not right. They don't agree with it, but they just want some sort of attention from him.
Yeah, exactly.
I think honestly, when you start listening, and I've got to acknowledge, right, okay, the guys that are in the chat, and it's not all women either, because there is some men. And the worst thing also, when men are actually the ones that are being abused and what have you, tend to be the ones that don't end up talking at all. Because it's embarrassing to be the one as a man that's been, you know, hit and stuff. But there is so many men to outweigh the narcissistic men. Unfortunately, we might as well, when I was still broken, I had a magnet on me, and that, or a light that said broken and needs that kind of person. And then they then have the opposite, and they can literally see it inside you. That's how narcissistic people work. They start the love bombing, and if you're receptive to it, then they was like, right, and you are literally having the best time of your life. You have literally, they won't leave you alone. They're obsessed with you. You might even think, I've never been loved like this before. You know, it becomes something like you think that God, he tells, and they've never loved somebody like they loved you. Classic line.
I've never felt this feelings towards anybody the way I do. I don't fall in easy. I love easy.
I've been waiting all this time to meet somebody like you. That I had flowers always delivered. I had gifts bought. I honestly, I mean, I've got some expensive jewelry, and not one piece was bought for me. But obviously, some of these people will buy you these things because they want you to think they're so special. But then they will also maybe make a nice meal. But then there's sorry, that's Libby in the background. Then there's like the things with, then you get are you wearing that? And it's like, why, what's wrong? You know, you wore it maybe on a first date with them. Oh, my dogs are nightmares.
I mean, I think you must be the only one, Cloudy Melts.
Shut up, you.
Can I just pause it for a second and say, I am reading every single one of your comments, and I have got so much love and respect for every single comment going on in here. I'm seeing your stories, and you are not unnoticed, you're not unloved, and thank you so much for sharing your stories in the chat. There is like, if you want to come in a box, you are more than welcome to. I understand if you don't. But I have got so much respect for every single one of you, and thank you.
We would love it if somebody else came in and gave us their side of things. And it could even, going back to the original subject about is sexting, cheating, have you been cheated on? You know, anything of what we've talked about, if you want to bring that kind of a perspective from your side, because just my experience doesn't make it everybody's experience, because all three of us, even though we've been in these situations, we're all very different.
And if you've got a comment, if you've got an opinion on what happened last night, I mean, please, you know, it can't be just us. And, you know, if you want to say something and you want your voice to be heard, please jump in.
Yes, you're not going to trigger anyone because everyone, that's what this live's about. We've put trigger.
We are the loose women, J babes.
We would love you. We would love you to feel comfortable enough to express. And I'm finding it. The more I talk about it, I'm getting quite desensitized about it. So I've been learned through my therapy. I talk about it as if it's somebody else's experience. So I'm not getting emotional when I'm telling you all this. I mean, I was very, very lucky. I literally got in with what is a domestic abuse and rape and child abuse charity in my town. And then, because I was in so bad, I love you. I was so bad. They actually got a psychotherapist and I would see them both in a week. And literally, that's how I am complete. And this is very rare, I know, because you can't even get therapy for like 18 weeks or more nowadays. And then half of that's on the phone or whatever. But I was very, very lucky to go to a woman to talk about all the stuff that had been happening to me, hence why we discovered the stuff that had happened in my childhood, which I don't talk about, to be honest, because I wouldn't go that far with my counselling. And then I went to the psychotherapist who taught me with my coping mechanisms. And one of the coping mechanisms is to be able to talk about it as if you are reading a book or I'm talking about, say, somebody else's experience. I was really lucky as well that I went to a refuge, which is why I'm a big thing about refuges. And if I've raised money and stuff before or donated and I've given time, and I actually put in a safe house. So the only place he knew where I was work, but he wasn't allowed anywhere near, which I was really lucky for. And only one person knew where I lived for a period of time, which was my son, nobody else. So luckily I could go out and walk the dogs and I wouldn't be thinking like Leanne was doing. So, and this house where I am now has CCTV all the way around the house. So, and I literally, as soon as I walk in, I lock the door. It is habit. Panda's just said, you grow around the damage. And you do become a better person for it in a way, because if you start to think positive around it, I've grown around mine, and that's where
to live with it and sort of like change the way that you act. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Hello, Amanda.
You're all so brave. I've just been sat listening, like, oh my goodness. You don't realise how many people are going through similar situations, whether it's in the past, even now, and even seeing the comments. They've been a hard read. I'm not going to lie.
It's a lot more common than people think.
What you saying, Pegs?
I said, I love you, pet.
I love you too, Pet.
Why are you, man?
Behave. But yeah, I went through something quite similar with my daughter's dad, and I was young, like 16, 17. You know, thought I was in love and all that stuff. Fell pregnant, and he didn't want her, so he tried other methods of me getting rid by beating up. He spiked me with ecstasy tablets as well, hoping that, you know, the drugs would, thankfully, you know, she was born quite healthy. But then my first husband, he was like yours, Panda, very manipulating, mind games, things like that. Things like I would go to the shop and I'll get a message saying TikTok, you know, with the clock emoji. I couldn't go out. And I was 150 miles away from my family, so I had nobody to turn to. My mum was here, and this is why I've came back home. And I mean, I've been out of that relationship for 6 years, but then when I met Ryan, I found that it caused a lot of problems early on in the relationship because he'd be nice, and then I'd be like, "What are you doing that for? Why are you being nice?" And even now, we've been together 5 years, and I'll still say to him, "Is it okay if I go out?"
You asked Ryan if you could go out.
Yeah.
I do that too. I forever ask Paul's permission to do things, and he's like, "Why are you asking me for?"
Yeah. Even things like if I'm going out, I mean, I only go out with like my cousins and things like that in town, but I'll screenshot the outfit and I'll send it to him, and I'm like, "Is this all right? It's not a bit, it's not a bit tarty, is it?" And then he's like, "What? I'm not bothered. Wear what you want." And he's the doorman, anyways, of where I go, but it's still, I feel that I still need that validation.
Yeah. I
Yeah, Ryan's a bit like Paul, like a big cuddly teddy bear.
Yeah.
They're really like when you meet him, he's like the same sort of thing we were talking about earlier. Like you have to say to him, "All right, Ryan? Yeah, all right, mate? Yeah." Do you know what I mean? Like,
people will look at Paul and they'll think, "Oh my God, mountain," and they sort of like back off and they're a bit wary, and like he is just the sweetest, kindest, most loving person I know.
That's like Ryan, because I'm like 5'1", Ryan's 6'1". So when we're together and there's like the height difference and walking down the street, people are looking like, what? Like what?
Yeah, Paul's 6'5".
Ryan's very like quiet and like laid back and that sort of thing.
Can I just say quickly to you, Amanda, when you said about TikTok about coming home, that was exactly like me. And it's also, I'll never remember that poor woman's face in Morrison's. I had just had a baby and we'd done the shopping, and I literally put on the belt, some sanitary towels and some deodorant. And she was scanning the shopping through, and all of a sudden my stuff got moved to the back, and one of the dividers went in between us, and he went, "I pay for me and my son, not you." I had no money, nothing on me. This poor woman behind this counter was like, and you could see her welling up as if to go. And I literally just said to her, "Can I leave that, please?" He would literally give me, if I went shopping, the food shopping, he'd give me the exact amount of money that I used to have to go around Morrison's with a calculator. And when I put things in a trolley, I'd have to calculate it up. So I knew that I had the exact money. Then he would go through the receipts.
Can I have some crisps?
Of course you can, baby.
Or else.
Yep.
Timely.
Yeah, I would ask him to pick up a magazine, 73p. I think it was for a take a break, and I would have to give him it back. If I didn't give him the 73p, he would make my life a misery. That is how bad it was. It was ridiculous.
Do you ever worry? Like, I don't know how to put this, but like you five in the box naming and people in the comments, like I'm not. I'm going to put it bluntly, but I don't mean to come across rude. Like like you ladies know how I am. Do you ever worry, like maybe not so much for Rach and Leanne, because obviously you've got boys, like do you ever worry about like your girl, like your girls, like if they've seen this stuff growing up, if they'll end up in this sort of relationship because they sort of look at it as, oh well, mum was there for 20 years with this guy who treated her like absolute fucking shit, if that's all I can get at this time moment in my life, then I'm gonna stick with it because mum stuck with it for 20 years. Do you know what I mean?
I think for me, because obviously we all know that I've got a daughter that's 19. My thing is the guilt of watching the impact that my downfall of my mental health because of the situation has had on her, and how wary she is around the opposite sex. That's my biggest guilt, is the impact that what I've been through has had on her, because she's like, I mean, she's got her first boyfriend now. It's amazing, but she's still very standoffish. And I notice it because like, she's just like, I don't want to get too close and let him in too much because I know what mum went through. And it's really horrible for me to watch. it's really heartbreaking and heart-wrenching to know that she's like that because of me, and I'll always have that guilt on my shoulders.
My daughter's 20.
Yeah.
And
similar age, isn't she?
She actually went through it when she was 18, and I didn't know, because she hid it, and she hid it well. So I felt a lot of guilt for that, and that is why she's living with me with like the kids, because I swore no,
never again.
Like, I can't say it a lot because there is an active police case going on, and the family do spy. But yeah, it's hard when you've got a daughter. Very hard.
It's very hard.
Amanda lives with my best friend.
I've got something else to say on this though. I've got one son. It breaks my heart, the damage I've done to my son. I've had so many. Sarah's in the chat. She has been in some horrendous situations herself. Sarah, if you want to come up. So we're in Marbella, and we just got onto it, and we found that we had gone through very similar experiences. And I always feel that it's only best to ask somebody whose child or you've been through to ask these kind of questions. And I said, the guilt I live with on a daily basis, knowing my son saw the first one walking around with a knife, and obviously the one that put his hand through the microwave, my husband and what he did to me, and literally he didn't even want to be at the wedding. It's because he'd obviously witnessed stuff. And he was at the wedding just for me. And then obviously I ended up moving out and left him in the home, our home. So I was contributing to 2 homes. And then obviously he was the one who my friend rang and said, look, her face is literally covered black and blue. And he had to pick me up and take the responsibility. Bearing in mind, his son was like 2 days old. I was then being put into there. Can you imagine? So as a male, you want to protect. And anybody who's got a grown-up son, Pegs will get this with obviously her oldest. He will always want to protect her. The guilt that they take on because they haven't been able to stop it for the woman, their mum, even if it's a sister or something that will be part of that family.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, can cause severe damage. And there was a period of time when I found that he was even talking to me like some of these men who had talked to me because he had been brought up in that situation.
I was about to say, like I obviously said about girls, following the mum, but then for example, with boys, do you ever worry that they've become so, in a sense, I want to use the word immune, but it's not immune, but do you know what I mean? Immune to the situation that they...
It's called conditioning. That's what, because bearing in mind, my son didn't have a dad. So when this person is behaving around him at an impressionable age, they absorb it. Unfortunately, we were able to catch it and we stopped it. The unfortunate thing for me is only last year he got out of an 11-year relationship where he's been the one that's being gaslighted, being abused, being kicked down the stairs. He's been mentally so screwed that he's taken this year and still continues to be adapting to what life is without her. And
years.
And literally, and could you imagine the guilt that because you always think the person, if your dad smoked and was really ill, you would not smoke. So you'd almost think, surely if they've seen you go through something like this, they would never behave like that, or they'd see the signs, but they don't. And to 11 years, and only because he wanted to be a full-time dad because he hadn't had a dad himself, that he kept staying and trying and trying.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be an easy ride for him. It really isn't.
No,
Did you find
100%.
though that after you'd split up with like your previous partners, it was a bit like a grieving process, if you will? Like
You miss them.
you felt different. Like you'd feel the anger and then you'd feel upset.
Yeah.
You know, it was really strange. Like,
It is
yeah,
really strange.
regret.
Because they
things like
told you
that.
all the time, didn't they? They literally told you, like, your life was... They knew what time you were leaving for work. They knew what time you would be coming home. I can remember getting stuck in traffic jams, and probably you, or if you've missed whatever, like, bus or train you were catching to get home.
Having to do overtime at work was
panic.
annoying.
You'd be in sheer panic because you were going to be late.
Yeah.
And they're just so... Literally, you end up rotating your whole life around that one person's needs.
Yeah.
And you then become useless.
Yeah.
When you've only got yourself to... It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it?
It's hard. It is hard.
Simon, that's not uni, babes.
Hi, Jessie. How are you, darling?